Have you ever felt like you're constantly looking for approval from other people? It's a totally common feeling. But what if I told you the real key to getting respect wasn't about getting it from others, but about building it inside yourself? So let's dive into this really powerful idea, how to create your own value. And this right here, this really gets to the heart of the whole problem. This quote basically tells us that looking for respect outside of ourselves, it's a total trap. See, if your self-worth is tied to what other people think, you're always going to feel incomplete. Why? Because their opinions can change in a heartbeat. So the bottom line is chasing external validation is it's exhausting and it never really fills you up. It's kind of like trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in it. True, lasting value, the kind that sticks, has to be built on a foundation that you control. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. 5 super powerful pillars to help you build that foundation. Our journey starts with the one thing we can absolutely never get back. So for our first pillar, we're going to focus on how you treat your time. You could argue that this is the most fundamental step of all because it really sets the tone for everything else when it comes to how you value yourself. It sounds so simple, right? But just think about it for a second. What does this really mean? Are you intentional with your day? Do you protect your time from things and people who don't really respect it? Valuing your time is the very first signal you send out to the world, and more importantly, to yourself, about your own worth. Now, here's what's so fascinating about this. The respect you have for your own time, it literally sets the standard for how everyone else will treat you. When you show people that your time is precious, they start to get it. They learn to value it. And you know what? By extension, they value you. And that's why this matters so much. When you set the standard, you stop waiting around for others to decide you're important. You're defining it for yourself.
Okay, let's move on to our second pillar, which actually builds right on top of the first one. Once you start valuing your time, the next logical step is to value your own thoughts and your own judgment.
All right, so moving on to number 2. This is all about building that inner confidence, that self-trust. This is all about having real confidence in your own point of view. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be right all the time. Nobody is. But it does mean you trust your own ability to think for yourself. It means your voice matters, especially to you. And this just nails the practical side of it. Respecting your opinion means taking ownership. It's about you being in the driver's seat of your own life, making your own choices, not just handing the wheel over to someone else. That kind of self-reliance is a huge source of personal power. And it's so critical because it frees you from that constant need for someone else to approve your decisions, which is the very definition of external validation. Okay, so we've talked about your time and your opinion. Now, this third pillar, it goes a little deeper, right to the very core of who you are, your character. Let's dig into this third essential piece, which is all about building a foundation of solid integrity. This is about making integrity your default setting. In a world that can sometimes feel a bit transactional, committing to being truthful and kind isn't just a moral choice. It's actually a strategic one for building genuine, unshakable self-worth. And here's why this is so rock solid. While people's opinions might change, character is something that's universally recognized. When people know you operate from a place of honesty, they develop a deep, lasting respect for you. Your integrity literally becomes your reputation. And at the end of the day, a reputation built on honesty is a source of value that's totally independent of anyone's fleeting approval. Okay, building on that foundation of character, our fourth pillar is all about competence and never-ending growth. This fourth step is what makes sure you're not just a person with integrity, but an effective one who's always getting stronger. A commitment to learning is really just a commitment to yourself. It doesn't matter if it's reading a book, learning a new software, or mastering a skill for your job. Every single piece of knowledge you gain is another brick in that foundation of your self-worth. I just love this phrasing because it is so incredibly true. Knowledge isn't just about collecting facts, it's a form of power. It's an inner resource, a toolkit that you can pull from no matter what life decides to throw at you. It makes you resilient, and it gives you this quiet confidence that no one can ever take away from you. And that's the whole point. It becomes your own internal source of validation because your competence starts to speak for itself. And that brings us to our fifth and final pillar. This is the one where all that inner value you've been building finally meets the external world. So this final crucial step is all about teaching people how to respect the value you've created for yourself. And you do that by setting boundaries. Think about it this way. Boundaries aren't walls you build to keep people out. They're more like guidelines you create to let people know how to respectfully be a part of your life. It's about knowing your own limits and having the courage to communicate them clearly and kindly.
So here's the real takeaway. Setting boundaries is like a filter. It helps you see who's genuinely there to respect you versus who might be there to take advantage. The people who honor your limits, those are the ones who truly see and appreciate your worth. And that right there is the ultimate act of self-validation. You're defining how you deserve to be treated instead of just passively accepting whatever treatment comes your way.
So there you have it. It's not just one thing, is it? It's a whole path. When you value your time, respect your own opinion, live with honesty, keep learning, and set clear boundaries, you create this powerful cycle of self-respect that just naturally radiates outward. So, as we wrap things up, the question isn't just about understanding these ideas. It's about actually doing something with them. Looking at these 5 pillars, which one is speaking to you the most right now? What's the one small, simple step you can take today to start building your own unshakable value?